the quickest way to high status is not actually the way that you think. So it's really hyped up on social media and YouTube and everything, how to get high status. And it will change everyone's perception of you, and this is what you need to be doing, and especially as a male, right? But I'm really more talking about this in terms of a creative person who wants to go about it in the most genuine way, which actually is the quickest way. I'm going to unpack exactly what I'm talking about here and give you some actionable tips on how to actually become high status, right? Hey creators, Aimon here, and this is where I help you unlock your dream creative life. So status is obviously really important, right? Because, think about the caveman days. If you were the caveman with the highest status, then you would get all the food, all the ladies, and all the resources, right? And so this is why it's built into us, and you would also survive, the most important thing, right? This is why it's built into us to seek status all the time, right? So it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense for us to want to seek status. The problem is, in the modern world, we're not comparing ourselves to 29 other cavemen, right? In our tribe, we're comparing ourselves to the rest of the world. So what we actually need to achieve in terms of status, the bar has raised a lot, right? And it's also much harder to achieve that because everyone else has a different idea of what status is and how high status one should be in terms of letting them into their life, right? Especially, again, when it comes to ladies and stuff. But again, I'm just talking about this in terms of creatives. Oh my God, there's one eyelash that's just gone fully rogue on me while I'm shooting a video. Anyway, we've actually got a coffee today, by the way. We usually got some green tea and stuff, but this is my favorite spicy mug. But anyway, you wouldn't think about it like this because of all of the hypey ways people talk about achieving status and becoming high status on the internet, right? But I think actually the quickest way to achieve high status is to get to know yourself, right? So you become really grounded in your own values. It takes a lot of self-reflection to actually understand exactly who you are, what your values are, what value you can provide the world, and then aggressively hone those skills. Now, a lot of people might click off this video right now because it's not actually giving them a quick way to achieve high status. But that's because there is no quick way. And anyone on social media that's telling you that there's a quick way to achieve high status or, any nonsense like that is lying to you and probably trying to sell you something, right? But on this channel, I'm trying to have discourse on, creative philosophical discussions, right? And there's no shortcuts in real life. There's no shortcuts to high status, right? And especially as a creative, this is a huge downfall. I see a lot of creatives, it's really sad. And I used to do it a lot as well, which is why I'm, qualified to speak on this topic, you might say, is that the reason that they're creating is so that they can achieve a status. And it's not actually for any other reason, for genuine reasons, because they're grounded in their values, because they want to create amazing art and be deeply fulfilled by the creation process, right? And there's a number of people in the music scene in my city right now that I could point at and say that person is doing that thing so that they can achieve a status. Why? So that people will perceive them in a particular way, so that they can have access to particular resources, be it, again, money, fame, ladies, whatever it is, okay? And I have nothing, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But the problem with that is, I would hate it if I was in that position and I didn't know that was the true reason that I was doing that thing, right? So again, anyone can do whatever they want. You can do whatever you want. But if you want to achieve high status, the actual quickest way to do it is the slow way, right? And again, that's about becoming grounded in your values. So it's do you actually know who you are? Do you actually know what your values are? Do you actually know why you are creating? Do you actually know what you get out of the creation process? Because for me, when it comes to actually creating, what I get out of the creating process, it's it's deeply fulfilling. The actual act of creating is where the magic is for me. And it's taken me many, many years to realize that. As I said, when I was, a younger man in my early 20s, and it's taken a long time to reflect on this. I've realized that that young man was actually seeking status. And that wasn't the only reason. He still got fulfillment out of creating, right? But there was an element of, oh, if I get this, then I will be perceived this way by my peers, and I'll have access to playing on festival stages and doing this and doing that and doing that and getting paid as an artist, and, you know, which are all pursuits worthy of going after, you know, if you perceive them of worthy of going after, if that makes sense. But they're the kind of pursuits that when you get there, when you get to the actual top, you get slapped in the face with all of a sudden, oh my God, you're alone and you've done this for the wrong reasons and you're not actually fulfilled. And that's why it's important to cultivate the real way. Again, this is just my experience and my perception, the real way of actually achieving high status. Because again, it's like other people's opinion of you doesn't actually matter. And I find that the more I walk through this earth with a high opinion of myself, and again, that high opinion of myself comes from all of the evidence that I've built to suggest that I should have a high perception of myself because I'm disciplined in all of my creative pursuits, in all of my, you know, with my diet and in my gym and my business and all of these different things. Like, there's a lot of different ways that I build up evidence to suggest that I should have a high perception of myself. And the reason I do all of those things underneath that is because I'm grounded in my values, right? And the reason I'm grounded in my values is because I've gotten all of those written down. And I've got life KPIs, and I've got a mission statement. And if you want the dream creative life framework, you can get that in the link in the description. And that's really going to help you level up your life. Check it out. And that's the very foundation of it. And it just works all the way up, right? And so high status comes from you. It comes from me. High status. I hate saying it. It's so cringy, right? But I just have a high perception of myself because I respect myself, because I do all of these things, because I say I'm going to do all those things, because my values suggest those things, because I've got a plan that suggests my values. Does that make sense? And I've just broken that down twice, but it's kind of important to know the flow to get to the point where you have a high perception of yourself. Because when you do that, you walk through the earth not caring what other people think about you. You walk on the planet not worrying about what other people's perception of your status is. And the funny part about that is that then people will pick up on that and they will treat you with respect as if you are high status, right? And that's just because you respect yourself. So it's a funny thing chasing status because, again, it's built into us biologically, right? Because we want to survive at the root of everything, okay? And that's a wonderful thing. But if you can recognize that and then zoom out, because, you know, we're not just cavemen trying to survive anymore. We're modern humans, and you can actually choose why you want to do something. And, you know, there's a level of self-awareness that has to come with that, right? But if you can get that level of self-awareness, am I even in focus? Oh my God, I don't have my glasses on, you see? So, but we're out here in my backyard just filming for something different. Hopefully you appreciate that. But yeah, you can actually choose why you do something and what you actually get out of it. Again, the reason I create is because the time I spend creating, I get deep fulfillment from that. And that's what's most important. And everything else on top of that, you know, because we're all just spending our time until we die, right? And so you may as well try and find something that you enjoy doing so that you're spending your time, you know, wisely, so you don't hate your existence. Does that make sense? And that's why at the root of it all, like if I'm spending my time creating and I find value in that, that's all that matters. Everything else is a sprinkle on top. And that doesn't mean you don't take actions after you create, right? There's obviously a lot of value in taking more actions after you create, like marketing your product and, you know, all that sort of stuff. But if you have the root value of it sorted and you know why you're doing it on that front, and achieving high status is going to be easy for you because you're not actually seeking status in the traditional way that a lot of people are. Because again, you'll get to the top. Like you can do that. You can seek status all you want in the like modern hypey way that they talk about on socials and on YouTube and stuff. But you'll get to the top and then you'll be lonely and you'll hate your existence, and then you'll wish that you went about it in the way that was actually genuine to you, that aligned with your values. So hopefully you've gotten some value out of this video, and I'll see you in the next one.